Hi everyone. It's been a while since I've done any videos, and I want to apologize for that. I've just been busy and there's just not enough time in the day or the week or the month even to do everything that I'd really like to do. But I wanted to follow up on my previous video, which wasn't horribly popular, but was something that people commented on as being a good idea, and I got the impression they might actually be doing something like this. So that video was about the humidifier using a 5-gallon bucket and some styrofoam to elevate the basically the Vicks vaporizer that I've been using. I wanted to cover a few things that might have slipped by or might have been said wrong, and some basic impressions of having done this for quite a while. First of all, I think I had mentioned that the styrofoam, the blue styrofoam, was basically waterproof. Well, it's not. Okay, it will stay buoyant for a long time, but it does eventually, like virtually every foam I've ever seen, does eventually soak up some water. So it will drop lower in the container with the weight of the vaporizer on it, and so there's multiple ways to deal with that. One of them is to just make another set and put it underneath so that you keep adding stuff. However, it gets heavy when it gets soaked, so I would say make multiple versions of these, multiple copies of the piece that fits the humidifier, and replace them if you're going to be doing that long term. Now, I don't actually do this long term. I do it for when I'm going to be away for a few days, and just using the regular, couple 1-inch pieces takes care of that really well. And generally, I don't lose so much water in the humidifier that it's a problem. This isn't a long-term solution. I don't feel it's a solution for occasionally when you leave for more than a day or two, and it's stretching it to go more than 2 days depending on what your weather is like. I also use the temperature setting in the thermostat to lower the temperature down to around 60 or 62 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in metric, but at any rate, usually 2 days is about what that does. Now, I also use the 5-gallon bucket, and I usually put 4 gallons in it. I don't want to put it all the way up to the top. Sometimes there is spitting, and I don't want that all over the floor. Okay, so a little height on the edge keeps too much of that from happening. Now, I also want to mention salt. Now, the instructions in the humidifier say that if the humidifier doesn't work with your water, that it needs a little bit more salinity to it, and salt will cause that to actually work. Now, that's true. You don't want to put too much salt in, though. Too much salt will cause it to really go crazy, and it'll draw a lot of power from the wall. I've even had it pop circuit breakers. It just, not so much circuit breakers, but the ground fault breakers. So you don't want to put too much in. Now, the recommended amount that they say in the instructions is 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon, and the normal part that it comes with is about a gallon, a little bit more. So 1/8 teaspoon for that. So if you're putting 4 gallons into the 5-gallon jug, you want this to have no more than 1/2 teaspoon in the water. Now, that's only if you need it. Your water may not require that. Mine does. I should also mention, though, that as time goes on, if you keep filling that up and you get kind of a mucky water that this is working with, then you end up with higher concentration of salts in there, because as it dissolves, as it vaporizes, it runs the water off and leaves the impurities in the water. If you keep filling that up, then those impurities get higher and higher concentration, and in essence add to the salt. Okay, so you don't want to do that. You want to clean out that water occasionally, get rid of that high concentration. So other than that, other than keeping the thing clean, and in my particular case the water is really full of minerals, just not the salt that it wants, it will create a crud inside the unit, and that needs to be disassembled and cleaned. Make sure it's unplugged when you do that, and reassembled so that it can go on again. Like I say, I really only use this occasionally when I'm leaving for a few days, and then I go back to the 1 gallon bits. I don't mind filling it up several times during the day, but if I'm leaving for a while, no one's going to be around to do that. I don't want my humidity dropping below 35%, certainly not more than 30%, which will happen if it runs out of water and stops humidifying, especially on cold winter days, which currently it still is. So anyway, I hope this was helpful if you're doing this sort of thing. If not, I can't imagine why you watched to the end of the video, but thank you.